Imagine two professional athletes, both national champions, playing the same sport. These professionals endure the rigors of physical fitness regimens, mental preparation, team practices, fan expectations, and media attention, and yet they are treated differently in both monetary and socioeconomic terms. Now imagine you are one of those professionals, and your efforts are played out on a worldwide scale. The game is not different, the rules are the same, you achieve better results than your counterpart, and yet the environment in which you work is of lesser quality and your compensation is many times less. Hello, my name is Cohen Woods, and today I will be sharing some economic consequences of being a professional female soccer player in 2022. These pictures are of the current men and women World Cup champions. They play the same game, follow the same rules, and yet some of the economic differences between them are drastic in both pay and environment. In this presentation, I will be focusing on the MLS, which stands for Major League Soccer, and that's where professional men's soccer teams play, and the NWSL, which stands for National Women's Soccer League, and that's where our professional women's soccer teams play, as well as the national teams that represent both men and women in the FIFA World Cup. My presentation will compare equality in the media in professional men's and women's soccer. I have broken down equality into two parts, including the overall workplace environment and equal pay amongst these athletes. When searching for information on allegations of harassment in the MLS, I found only a couple of examples. One was of an alleged incident on the field between Portland Timbers midfielder Diego Chara and a Minnesota United player during a match, according to the Sporting News article. This article stated that Diego was subjected to a racial comment. However, the alleged player could not be identified, and the investigation that was launched proved to be inconclusive. There have been many cases in regards to sexual harassment towards female employees and college students. One such example of this behavior took place at the University of San Francisco, where a female freshman woke up naked in the shower of her dormitory after being raped by former USF men's soccer players, according to the SI. When searching for more examples to bring to light these issues, I only seem to find articles about the NWSL. Recently, many prominent current and former NWSL players spoke up about sexual harassment that they have endured from their coaches over several years, going all the way back to 2019. A nationwide investigation was done and completed earlier this year, identifying coaches, owners, and other prominent figures in the NWSL who either secretly harassed players or simply looked the other way and chose to abandon the women. This brought huge economic implications, with many sponsorships backing out of deals and refusing to support a system of oppression, finding a way to support the team players, not the owners of teams. With these sponsors refusing to return until new ownership takes control, that will provide the proper support and transparency to everyone involved in these teams. Transitioning into pay equality, this is where the numbers will show the massive discrepancy between the male and female athletes. When discussing the World Cup, there are three categories to be broken down: how much you get for joining the team, how much you earn for a win/loss, and how much you earn for winning the tournament. As you can see here, the men dominate each category, with women earning 55% less than men when joining the team, all the way to earning less than 73% of what each male player makes if they win the World Cup. What's even worse is that even the men's teams who loses still get a bonus, where the women get nothing if they lose. These numbers alone show that in order for women to make a living in their profession, they have to win. And for the U.S. women's national team, they have done just that. They have won 4 out of 8 World Cups so far, with the men never reaching the finals of any of their World Cups. Earlier this year, the U.S. women's national team sued the U.S. Soccer Federation over getting equal pay to their male counterparts. These statistics were used in their argument, and the judge granted in their favor, requiring millions in back pay and making it an equal playing field for both genders. As many female players, like Megan Rapinoe, a decorated athlete who plays for OL Reign, who also became the second American to win the World Cup's Golden Boot reward, along with winning the Golden Ball reward, as the MVP has stated, there's no other way to look at it than just a monumental win for women's sports and women's soccer in particular, with many more echoing the same sentiment, but also saying this is just the beginning. While many people have their viewpoints on whether men and women should get paid the same, I've always wondered what are some possible reasons into why this might be the case. And as I turn to the media aspect, it becomes a little clearer, but also brings up more questions. Within the aspect of media, I will be narrowing in on media rights and overall viewership. At this moment, you can watch any MLS game on primetime television, either through cable, ESPN, or other sports websites. It's free, easily accessible, and not much of a hassle when all games are centralized in one location. Recently, the MLS made a 10-year, $2.5 billion deal with Apple TV, giving them the right to broadcast all MLS games for the next decade. While, yes, Apple TV is a subscription and not everyone has access to the service, all MLS games will still be shown in one location. Turning to NWSL games, the process becomes a bit more complicated and convoluted to navigate. You have to have an ESPN Plus, CBS Sports, and Paramount Plus account in order to access the women's games. While on the surface, this may look like the women's has more options in which to view the games, the overall quality, endless paywalls, and ease of use turns many potential viewers away from watching these games. In sports, viewership is what brings in the money. And the next slideshow shows those discrepancies between men and women soccer. This year, the MLS Championship game reached a total of 2.155 million viewers, where the NWSL Championship game reached just under 1 million, with around 915,000 total viewers. That's not even 50% of the total viewership the MLS Cup had. And this was the first time in history that the NWSL Championship game was even broadcasted on primetime television. To put this number into perspective, last year, the total viewership of the 2021 NWSL Championship game only averaged around 525,000 viewers. When comparing World Cup viewership for both men and women, the percentages get even lower, with the Men's World Cup totaling a whopping 3.572 billion viewers, with the Women's World Cup only reaching a total of 1.12 billion viewers, which is only 31% of the men's total. While one might argue that based on these numbers, and since the viewers, or in the case of a market, the consumers, are the ones that bring in the money, then yes, men's soccer should get more financial backing. My counter to that is look at the growth percentages of viewership in 2020 for the MLS and NWSL. In 2020, the average viewership growth actually dropped by 4% in the MLS, with the NWSL seeing a staggering growth of almost 500%. Women's soccer is gaining traction fast through fan support, awareness, and sponsorship deals. I contribute most of this success to how successful the US women's national team is on the world stage. They are the number one team in the world, completing feats that I personally don't think the men's team will ever come close to accomplishing. And these growth percentages show why many people are up in arms about our female soccer athletes getting the respect they deserve. To summarize, I broke down two important factors in soccer: equality and the media, to show the economic implications on both leagues and how this affects the individual players. From equality, I further discussed equal pay in the workplace environment and their respective impacts, along with the viewership and how the media has affected the ability to watch professional soccer in the US. To end this presentation, I want to ask you a question. Do you think women deserve the same economic benefits as men, or is there still more questions needed to be asked? Thank you.